What? A beatdown. The Philadelphia Eagles didn't just beat the Giants. They made a statement, delivered with authority, in a game that felt personal from the opening whistle to the final snap. A commanding 38-20 win at home, wearing the iconic Kelly green uniforms, now undefeated since their return. Say what you want about superstition or style, but there's something about those throwbacks that brings the fire out of this team. Look good, feel good, dominate. That's exactly what the Eagles did, and it couldn't have come at a better moment. After a turbulent few weeks, the Birds put together what can only be described as their most complete performance of the season. Offensively, defensively, on special teams, this was a clinic. The tone was set early, with Saquon Barkley bursting through for a 65-yard touchdown on just the second play of the game. That run wasn't just a touchdown, it was a message. It was the kind of moment that flips a switch, energizes the crowd, and lets everyone know it's going to be a long day for the opponent. And it echoed something we saw before, that NFC Championship burst against Washington. Another moment where Barkley said, "I'm still him." And listen, for Saquon, this one meant something. He had a point to prove to his former team, and boy did he drive it home. He didn't just torch the Giants on the ground. He found the end zone through the air as well. The groin tweak he picked up mid-game might be a concern for some, but he brushed it off after the final whistle. He says he'll be ready for Week 10 against Green Bay, and based on the way he played, nobody's doubting him. Now, let's talk about Jalen Hurts. Precision, poise, command, all on full display. 15 completions on 20 attempts, 179 yards. For touchdowns, no turnovers, a passer rating north of 140. Hurts was in full control, slicing up the Giants' defense like a surgeon. And this wasn't just some padded stat line against soft coverage and garbage time. He was dealing from the start. And for all the noise from critics claiming he's not elite unless A.J. Brown is on the field, well, Hurts shut that all the way down. No A.J., no Cam Jurgens. Didn't matter. He spread the ball around like a true field general. Devonta Smith, Dallas Goedert, Xavier Gibson, even Tank Bigsby, everybody ate. And speaking of Bigsby, let's address that too. There were a lot of people side-eyeing Howie Roseman for the trade. 2 picks. For a guy who couldn't return kicks cleanly? That skepticism got loud. But Bigsby looked explosive, powerful, and decisive in this one. That 17-yard run late in the game? That's not just stats padding. That's a running back refusing to go down, slipping tackles, creating something out of nothing. 9 carries, 104 yards. More than 11 per tote. That's not just a nice day. That's a breakout. And suddenly, the Eagles might have unlocked a thunder and lightning combo in that backfield with Barkley and Bigsby. But this game wasn't just about offense. The defense came with bad intentions. They harassed Jackson Dart all afternoon, sacking him 5 times, hitting him over and over again, never letting him breathe. More than 15 pressures, 7 tackles for loss, constant disruption. And that's without even having to send exotic blitzes every down. Just winning one-on-one battles, collapsing the pocket, and forcing mistakes. That's the kind of pass rush that makes an entire offense uncomfortable. And today, the Giants never looked settled. And look, the last time these two teams met, it was ugly. Thursday Night Football in Week 6, the Giants smacked the Eagles around. Flat out embarrassed them. Played with more energy, more toughness. It looked like Philly didn't even want to be there. And the Giants? They acted like they won the Super Bowl. The celebration from Jackson Dart and Cam Scatterbo after that win? Yeah, the Eagles noticed. They remembered. And Barkley admitted after this game. That celebration lit a fire under this locker room. That kind of loss sticks with you. It burns. And great teams don't forget that feeling. They respond. And today was that response. This time, the Eagles didn't just win. They imposed their will. 427 yards of total offense. 276 on the ground alone. A complete, relentless beatdown. They didn't let the Giants breathe. They didn't let them build any kind of momentum. They just kept applying pressure, both figuratively and literally. Even with injuries along the offensive line, Hurts stood tall. Took some hits, 4 sacks for 28 yards, but never got rattled. The ball was coming out on time. The decision-making was sharp. And when he needed to, he extended plays with his legs. This is what elite quarterbacks do. They elevate the entire unit around them, no matter who's missing or who's in the lineup. Let's talk a bit about Kevin Patullo's play calling too. This felt like the most creative and well-orchestrated offensive game plan we've seen all season. There was balance. There was deception. There was rhythm. More Jalen Hurts under center. Play-action boots. Gap scheme runs. Screens. Misdirection. It wasn't just about execution. It was about design. And the design was elite. Patullo finally looked like a guy calling plays with confidence and vision. The kind of play calling that keeps a defense guessing all afternoon. And give Vic Fangio his flowers. The defensive mastermind called a masterclass today. The pressure packages were dialed in. The coverage looks kept Jackson Dart second-guessing all game. And the tackling? Clean, aggressive, and consistent. The kind of physicality that wins playoff games in January. There were some question marks around this coaching staff earlier in the year. People asking if this group could get the job done. If the Eagles had lost their identity. But that's the thing about this team. They don't peak in September. Under Nick Sirianni, they're built to grow through the season. And right now, we're seeing it. They're starting to click. They're starting to find themselves. And the timing couldn't be better heading into the bye. Now, let's be real. Not everything was perfect. The officiating was rough, inconsistent, confusing. And yeah, Giants fans are going to be mad about some calls. That OPI on Darius Slayton could have gone either way. The non-call on Nico Dean getting tackled? Yeah, that was a miss. The strip sack that got ruled an incomplete pass probably should have been a fumble. But the truth is, the bad calls were happening on both sides. Jalen Hurts clearly fumbled on the tush-push. That ball was out. That should have been Giants football. But the whistle blew fast. So yeah, both teams got burned by the refs. Let's not pretend this game was decided by the stripes. The Eagles were better. Period. And to be fair, a huge shout-out is due to the Philadelphia fans in the stadium. When Cam Skattebo went down, and that was a tough injury, the entire stadium stood up and showed respect. Applause, silence, and genuine concern. That's what real sportsmanship looks like. And while there are always going to be a few clowns on both sides, especially with the intensity of a Northeast rivalry, moments like that matter. Respect, even in the heat of battle, goes a long way. And finally, back to the big picture. The Eagles are now sitting at 6-2. Back-to-back wins. Offense finding a groove. Defense dominating. A team that just steamrolled a division rival who had embarrassed them earlier in the year. The bye week comes at the perfect time. A chance to heal up, recharge, and gear up for a massive matchup at Lambeau Field in Week 10. Green Bay is no joke, and the NFC race is wide open. But if the Eagles keep playing like this, if they continue to build on what they've done the last 2 weeks, they're going to be a problem for everyone. While the final score was dominant, and the stat sheet tells the story of a complete team performance, the undercurrent of this Eagles win runs deeper. This was emotional. This was personal. It had a tone of revenge and redemption, and that kind of energy can galvanize a team heading into the back half of the season. When you go out and get humiliated in prime time like the Eagles did against the Giants a few weeks ago, it leaves a scar. You feel the embarrassment. You hear the noise. And when that moment comes for payback, how you respond says everything about your team's identity. The Eagles didn't flinch. They answered. And you could feel it in the stadium right from the opening snap. The crowd was locked in. The players were flying around. It was intensity without chaos, aggression without recklessness. This wasn't desperation. This was a calculated assault on a division rival who had disrespected them and celebrated like kings after one Thursday night win. That game was circled. The Giants came into Lincoln Financial Field and got everything they asked for and more. The Eagles were so sharp with their execution, and it started up front. Despite being banged up, the offensive line gave Jalen Hurts enough time to work through his progressions. And in the run game, they opened lanes that Barkley and Bigsby hit with authority. Landon Dickerson, in particular, looked the best he's looked in weeks. On that long touchdown run from Barkley, Dickerson had a key block that completely sealed the edge. If he started to feel healthy again, that's a massive boost moving forward. The backfield duo of Barkley and Bigsby looked like it could be the real deal. Barkley brings that shiftiness and home run ability. Bigsby brings the power. But it's not just about complementary styles. It's about depth. It's about having options and being able to wear teams down late. If Bigsby can consistently deliver like this, the Eagles don't have to rely solely on Barkley carrying the load week after week. That balance is critical in the second half of the season when the weather turns and games get tighter. And while the offense clicked in every way, the defense was just relentless. This wasn't just a good defensive game. It was a suffocating one. They didn't allow Jackson Dart to get comfortable at any point. Every time he dropped back, it felt like someone was in his face or collapsing the pocket. Jay Hunt, who had been quiet early in the year, has suddenly found another gear. He looks faster off the edge, more decisive in his moves, and he's winning his matchups. 5 sacks as a team. Constant disruption. Dart was running for his life out there. But it wasn't just the pass rush. The secondary held up beautifully. Quinyon Mitchell continues to prove why the Eagles were right to trust him in a bigger role. He was sticky in coverage, disciplined, and physical without getting grabby. And even when he was challenged, he didn't panic. There's a maturity to his game that goes beyond his age. That OPI call on Darius Slayton looked questionable in slow motion, but if you watch it in real time, you can clearly see the push-off. That wasn't luck. That was smart positioning by Mitchell and a receiver who got a little too eager to create space. Even the linebackers, who've been a bit of a weak spot this year, played with purpose. Nico Dean looked like he had something to prove. He was fast to the ball, communicating well, and flying around the field. And even though he got pulled down on that no call during the Cam Scatterbo touchdown, he stayed locked in. That kind of resilience matters. There was something else in this game, too, leadership. You could see it in how Jalen Hurts handled himself. No panic, no overreaction, just calm, composed execution. And it's that demeanor that spreads throughout the team. When your quarterback is that steady, everybody else finds their rhythm. He's not yelling. He's not showboating. He's just putting in work and letting the play speak for itself. And when things got chippy, like they always do in NFC East matchups, Hurts never let it get to him. That's what leaders do. They raise the standard without needing to say much. But we can't ignore the officiating in this game. It was rough, inconsistent at best, flat out confusing at worst. There were blown calls that went both ways, and that's why all the whining from Giants fans about the refs doesn't hold much weight. Yes, the Jalen Hurts tush-push fumble should have been ruled a turnover. But there were just as many misses that helped New York. If you're going to complain about officiating, at least be honest enough to call it both ways. Bad calls happen. But when one team dominates for 60 straight minutes, it's not the refs. It's football. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest updates on our Philadelphia Eagles. And don't be shy. Share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. In a shocking turn of events that has sent shockwaves through the NFL community, insiders are buzzing that the league has finally acknowledged what many fans had long suspected, a monumental error in last season's championship proceedings. Sources close to the matter suggest that the NFL has made the unprecedented decision to return a major title to the Philadelphia Eagles, sparking a frenzy of speculation about what went wrong and how such a glaring oversight went unnoticed for so long. According to whispers circulating around league executives and team insiders, the original decision that denied the Eagles their rightful championship was the result of a combination of officiating mishaps and procedural errors. While the NFL has historically been reluctant to revisit past outcomes, the mounting pressure from fans, media scrutiny, and internal audits appears to have forced the organization's hand. The Eagles, who have long claimed they were robbed of glory, are reportedly ecstatic, though league sources caution that formal announcements are being carefully orchestrated to manage the fallout. The ramifications of this correction are staggering. Analysts are speculating how this could affect player legacies, Hall of Fame considerations, and even the financial payouts associated with the championship. Some are even wondering whether other teams might follow suit with similar claims, though experts believe the NFL's admission may be a one-off, given the extraordinary nature of the error. The Eagles' locker room, meanwhile, is said to be buzzing with a mix of disbelief and excitement. with players and coaches reportedly reminiscing about the pivotal games that were once thought to be lost causes. Fans have taken to social media in droves, speculating about how the ceremony for the reclaimed title will unfold. Will the league stage a retroactive celebration, complete with trophies and confetti, or will the acknowledgement remain largely symbolic? Rumors suggest the Eagles' front office is quietly negotiating the logistics, aiming to give their supporters the moment they were denied the first time around. Some insiders hint that this could mark a new era of transparency in the NFL, though skeptics warn that such high-profile reversals are rare and fraught with controversy. While the league has yet to release an official statement, the murmurings from multiple sources make it increasingly clear that the Philadelphia Eagles are on the verge of reclaiming a championship that had eluded them due to a bureaucratic nightmare. If confirmed, this extraordinary turn of events could redefine how fans and players alike view the sanctity of NFL titles and leave the rest of the league scrambling to come to terms with what may be the most unusual championship saga in recent memory. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Philadelphia Eagles, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.